Hello there, I'm Chris Bale and I'm with the Paul Kaplan Real Estate Group here in awesome Palm Springs, California. We specialize in mid-century modern houses and condos, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the experience I had with my clients, Ann and Rick. But first, let me tell you a little about the Paul Kaplan Group. We've been around for about 13 years. I've been a part of the Paul Kaplan Group for 4 years, and we are, per capita, we sell the most mid-century in the Coachella Valley, which is the greater Palm Springs area. So working with Ann and Rick was pretty interesting. It was kind of like Donnie and Marie. I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll, except here in Palm Springs, where mid-century modern is king, we had Rick, who was a little bit Spanish style, which is also a popular style here, and Ann, who was hardcore, I want mid-century lines. So that posed a little bit of an interesting dilemma for us, and with the properties that we looked at, I was able to talk to them about something that's sort of just being, not discovered, but just being talked about, which is med-mod. In the 70s, after modernism had kind of had its heyday, and of course it wasn't called modernism at that time, but when we were coming out of that international style of the clean lines and the post and beam, people started toying around with adding Spanish and Mediterranean influences back in. And that happened here in Palm Springs, especially with the condos. So I found them a condo that was med-mod, that was a little bit Spanish and a little bit modern, and made them both happy. So one of the biggest challenges that we had was the budget. It's real easy to look on paper and say, oh, we're going to find the condo that we love for $150,000. But in Palm Springs, things really change for the better when you get up to $200,000. So that became our biggest challenge. But one of my favorite places that I'm not always sure people are going to like, I pulled that out at the last minute, and that's where they ended up purchasing their condo. It just happens to be a place because there's a land lease instead of actual land ownership. It makes the prices a little bit less. So any other places here in town where you actually bought the land, you'd be paying $200 plus. But we were able to get them in on budget at this place and make them both happy. And of course it was the med-mod, which they both loved because it was a little bit of the Spanish and a little bit of the modern. So we're here at one of my listings, which is an Alexander Construction Company mid-century modern house in Palm Springs. This is the breezeway, which is the open air space between the house and the garage. And follow me in and I'll show you some fun things about this property. We've got an architectural element that is outdoors that comes inside, and that really exemplifies the crucial indoor-outdoor architecture and living of Palm Springs. This is the entryway, and on the other side of this wall, we have our public space for the house. We've got a nice tidy kitchen here, and then over here, we've got the living space. Big walls of glass, a nice gas fireplace. Yes, they did gas fireplaces back in the late 50s. And a nice picture window that looks out to the mountains. And of course our post and beam and tongue and groove ceiling. So this is a mid-century Alexander designed by Palmer and Kreisel, who did many production house tracts in Southern California. And I'm Chris Bale.